Okay. One last story, Artie, and we're going to end on time. You know, when most people hear the name Marshall McLuhan, they think of his famous quote, which is, "The media is the message." That's not my favorite quote of Marshall McLuhan. Mine is one I heard a long time ago, and it is, "There are no passengers on Spaceship Earth. We're all crew." Now, I don't know, maybe because I started flying airplanes at a young age, or maybe because I was a teenager during the Apollo program. You remember that first Apollo mission that went round the moon and then took that picture back at the Earth from 250,000 miles away? That beautiful blue and white ball out there in the darkness. And I think that was the first time I thought about space, the Earth being a spaceship. And we were, passengers, and maybe we ought to take care of the life support system and the water we drink and the air we breathe or whatever. But after 9/11, I got a completely different perspective on that quote. Because on 9/11, when United Flight 93 taxied out for takeoff that morning, the passenger manifest said 7 crew and 37 passengers. But about 30 minutes after takeoff, 4 hijackers took over that airplane. And technically speaking, the manifest should have changed at that point. It should have said 7 crew, 33 passengers, and 4 hijackers. And then when the crew and the passengers began making phone calls, and they found out what had happened to American Flight 11 and United Flight 175 at the World Trade Center towers, they took 2 correct actions at that point. The first thing they did was they asked the right question. They didn't say, "What's the FAA going to do for us?" They didn't say, "What's the U.S. Air Force going to do for us?" Because the fact is, the most powerful military force in the world that morning could not have helped them. They asked the same question Sheriff Don Soule asked. They said, "What can we do for ourselves?" And the second thing they did was they formed a posse. See, the final manifest for United Flight 93 should read 4 terrorists and a crew of 40. They formed a posse. They did the best they could. They were not able to save their lives that morning, but what that posse of 40 did was they prevented United Flight 93 from becoming a weapon of mass destruction in our nation's capital. And so when you leave here, I'm going to ask you to remember the lessons of Flight 93. When you go home and you ask, what can I do for my family? What can I do for my local community? What can I do for my business? What can I do for America in this time of Homeland Security? You can ask the right questions. You can form a posse. Let's roll. Thank you.